I know it's past Christmas, but I've decided to make one of those brownie Yule log things. Honestly, I think they look a bit meh. So I wanted to try one for myself and see what they were like. So I'm going to be using my gluten-free brownie recipe, which I'm not going to be sharing at the moment, but I will do in the future. Start off with our bowl, butter, using milk chocolate instead of dark chocolate, which I'm supposed to be using. Someone did say on here, and they know who they are, that they actually use milk chocolate in their brownies normally. I'm gonna try it and see what it turns out like. I trust them. I actually did this in the wrong bowl. I want to put it in a smaller bowl and then move this over to the bigger bowl when it's melted. It's time to add in the sugar. I don't have light brown sugar, so I'm going to be using a little bit of dark brown sugar. This is caster. I've got the chocolate and butter mix here. So this is fully melted. I do it at 30-second intervals and stir after each interval. Now I'm going to pour the chocolate into the sugar and then give this a stir. I know there are different ways to make a brownie. So for example, I'm doing the like melted butter and sugar then just dump everything in method. But there's also, you can whisk up the eggs in the sugar, and that's supposed to make like a nice crackle top, but I prefer denser brownies, so I like doing it this way. So now I'm going to add in the vanilla. I'm just doing this by eye. So this looks kind of grainy and separated at the moment, but I need to add in the eggs and that will bind it all together. So if you get a shell in, it's good to use the eggshell to get it out. That's the easiest way I find. Also, you can wet your finger and then just like attack the loose eggshell, like gently drag it up the side of the bowl. I think that works as well. Now I'm going to mix it all up. Just want this to be combined. I'm not trying to whisk it. Next I'm going to add in the flour. With gluten-free bakes I like to use Dove Farm. I think it's by far the best one I've used. Cocoa powder. I like using both chocolate and cocoa powder in brownies. I think it just adds to the richness to it. And then a pinch of salt. And now it's time to mix this up again. Because it's gluten-free, I don't really have to worry about over mixing it too much. I can be a bit rougher with it. I'm always paranoid that I'm missing something, but I think I've added everything in. So I've got my tin here, I've greased and lined it. Oh my god, this bowl's so heavy. I don't know why I use this bowl. Now I'm just going to spread it out till it's roughly even. Just want it to be roughly even so it bakes evenly. So I'm going to bake it and then let it cool. The next day I've got my brownie. I prefer brownies the next day, so I've left this overnight in the fridge. The videos I saw weren't really clear about whether the brownie should be warm, cold, room temperature. I've left this in the fridge overnight and then I've left it come to room temperature. And I'm just going to take it out of the tin and I'm going to trim the edges off. I saw there was two ways of making the log, and it was to bash it with a rolling pin to flatten it out, or put it in a mixer and make it into like cake pops, like a big ball of dough. Sorry, the light's bad. This is what they look like. I tried a little bit and I think I'm going to stick to dark chocolate. That is just for this recipe though. I'm sure it works a lot better with other ones. So it's time to take this over to the mixer. I'm a bit worried because it hasn't gone into a ball like I've seen others do. So I've got a baking tray and I've put cling film over the top. So now I'm just going to dollop bits of the brownie onto the tray. And then using my hands, I'm going to squish it down. So for the middle, I'm using this chocolate caramel spread from Asda. I'm reading the ingredients, it's got hazelnuts in it. Companies seem to be sneaking nuts into chocolate products. Like with Lidl, I think it was their milk chocolate had hazelnuts in it. Why, I don't know. I'm going to start off with that much and see how it goes. That's what it looks like. I've spread it right to the edges. I tried a bit of this and to me it doesn't taste chocolate caramel, it tastes more like coffee with a little bit of caramel. It's time to roll this up now. Lift up the edges and fold it over using the cling film and roll it. So I should be able to lift it up. Nope, I cannot. Oh, it's so soft. I'm actually going to leave it like this first and put it in the freezer. Got it out of the freezer, but It wasn't solid enough yet, it was very squishy and it kind of flattened out and it looks like a giant turd. So I've put it back in the freezer. And this is what I don't like about some of the recipes on here. They are not clear, they do not give instructions. It's just, this is how you do this, the first part of it, but not the second part of it, the assembly bit. We see that it's part of baking is like failing or maybe not getting something right and trying to correct it, but I don't know, I'm just not having fun with this. I'm gonna cut the edges of the poo log and then flip it onto here. This looks awful. Save the poo ends for later. Flip this onto the tray. Oh, fuck off. My ganache set a little bit, so I've warmed it up again. It's more runny now. I'm not worried about being too neat anymore. It's a giant turd, I don't care. Now I'm just going to use palette knife and spread it all over. There'll probably be pools of it at the bottom, but I don't care. And then do lines in it so it kind of looks like a log. I've got silver spray, just put that on. Ta-da! Here's what it looks like at the moment. I'm going to put it in the fridge to set a bit more. I'm going to try a bit of one of the ends that I cut off. What's the point? I don't see the point. Just have a brownie. Why does it need to be a log? Put spread on a brownie. You get all the crunchy bit. You get the soft bit. So I've put some of it in here and I thought I'd give my final thoughts about this brownie Yule log. I liked it more than what I thought I would. I know I moaned about it, but in the end it wasn't too bad. It might have been because of the brownie recipe I use, because it's gluten-free, they tend to be a bit more fudgy, I guess, a bit more squishy. It's not the right word, but softer. Yeah, so rolling it was a bit of a pain in the bum. It wasn't as neat as I hoped it would look. My family loved it. I think I was the only one that was a bit like, meh about it. Would I make it again? No. I don't really see the point. I'd rather just eat a brownie and then put spread or something on top of it. I understand it's more for like the novelty, but I don't think it's worth it personally. Don't get me wrong, I will happily eat the rest of this though.